The majority of Americans want Obamacare repealed, but the liberal media continue to promote it. They're pushing a left-wing agenda and calling it news. It's time the liberal media tell the truth. Go to tellthetruth2010.org and join the fight.
Hollywood actor Gary Sinise spoke to CNSNews.com here at the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial Ceremony about his experiences in Afghanistan and his thoughts on the war in the region. I wanted to ask you what brought you here to this event and at the ceremony, and what you think the significance of it is with Veterans Day coming tomorrow.
I got involved with the Disabled American Veterans years ago, and played their national convention several times with my band. I do promotional materials for them, and about 6 years ago I found out about this memorial effort at one of their events and offered help, and then they asked me to be the national spokesperson for this. So I've been raising money and promoting the effort and doing what I can to draw attention to the building of this long overdue memorial.
News broke recently that the U.S. commander said that the United States is likely to be in Afghanistan, will be in Afghanistan until 2014, which is past the July 2011 deadline that President Obama set. Do you think, in your mind, that the war in Afghanistan is a war worth fighting?
Well, I've been to Afghanistan 2 or 3 times myself. I've seen what our soldiers are doing over there. I know that all around that country it's very, very difficult. It's a difficult fight. There's some very serious bad guys over there, but our soldiers, Marines and folks that are serving over there are doing incredible work. I mean, just consider the fact that the hospitals that we've built over there and that we maintain and that we run on various bases all around the country are the best hospitals that country has ever seen in the history of Afghanistan. So you've got some old farmer living in the mountains whose daughter breaks her leg, and he puts her in a cart and he humps her 50 miles over the mountains just to bring her to one of our doctors, because if he didn't do that, he'd have to take an axe and chop off her leg. I mean, that's what they do over there. So he brings her to our doctors 50 miles away, a doctor that he's never had access to or would have never had access to had we not been there, and that doctor fixes that little girl's leg. I've seen our doctors and soldiers doing remarkable things to help people over there. It's a very, very difficult fight. It's a different culture. There's serious bad guys that don't want us to be there, but there's a lot of people there that we've helped, and if they can be given a chance at freedom the way we know it, or at least a portion of the way we know it, I think they deserve that. Every human being deserves to be free and unoppressed, and we're trying to provide a situation in a very difficult world over there with corruption and everything else that's going on, trying to provide the possibility of freedom for those people. So I think it's a cause that's worthy. Freedom is always a worthy cause to defend. Whether we can have a conclusion the way we'd like it to be is yet to be seen.
Sinise's cover band, Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band, named after his character in the Oscar-winning film Forrest Gump, has toured Afghanistan several times. Sinise says he has many family and friends who have served in the military and describes his experience performing for troops overseas as, quote, humbling. When you were actually in Afghanistan, what inspired you to go overseas? Many celebrities come out for causes here in the United States, but they don't go overseas. They talk about overseas issues, but actually don't go. What made you actually go overseas to see what's happening?
Well, look, I have veterans in my family. I respect them. I'm proud of them. I have many friends who have served, Vietnam veterans. We all remember what happened to our Vietnam veterans when they went off to war and came back to a divided nation, an ungrateful nation that treated them like they weren't, they treated them badly. And we don't want that to happen again. So we got volunteers that go overseas to defend our country, to fight the nation's wars, no matter who's in the White House sending them there. So, every president sends the troops somewhere, and they have to do something dangerous. we're lucky that we have people who are willing to volunteer for that duty. And when you go overseas and you see what they're doing, you see how professional they are, you see the kind of caliber of people that we have, and the courage of folks that get injured and have to live for the rest of their lives with a disability, it's humbling to you, and it reminds you that there's a lot more out there than just your small little world. And I'm blessed to live in the United States of America and enjoy the freedom that I have. There are people that have paid a big cost for that freedom. Many of them are here today, are disabled veterans who have given up pieces of their bodies and minds and have had to live with that disability for the rest of their life. What we're doing here today is we're going to dedicate and break ground on a memorial that's going to pay tribute to all those disabled veterans that have sacrificed so much for us. It's long overdue. We got many memorials here in Washington, D.C. that pay tribute to our fallen soldiers. But there's never been anything to honor the sacrifice of these men and women who have lost parts of themselves and had to live with those memories for the rest of their life. This is going to be a healing and very positive thing for them and for our country.
Now, this memorial is the nation's first to honor the over 3 million disabled veterans living in the United States. Nicholas Balassi, CNSnews.com, Washington.